Me, 25YO, male. Life was pretty stable, kinda boring honestly. Lived alone, played video games, saw friends. Decided to try a dating app again. Matched with a girl named Cassandra, 24. Her profile was cute, lots of artsy photos. Looked sweet, a little shy, my type. We started talking, conversation flowed easily. She seemed genuinely interested in my life, asked about my hobbies, my work, my day. Felt nice to have someone pay attention. After a week, we decided to meet up. Went for coffee at a small local cafe. She was even prettier in person. Big eyes. Had this fragile, delicate way about her, like you needed to protect her from everything. The date went incredibly well, talked for hours. She told me about her difficult childhood. Parents were apparently cold and demanding. Never gave her the love she really needed. Felt a huge wave of sympathy for her. She said her last boyfriend was terrible, manipulative, controlling, never supported her dreams. Said he made her feel small and worthless. I told her no one deserved to feel that. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. You're so nice. I'm not used to this. Felt like a hero in that single moment. We started dating exclusively after that. The first few months were pure bliss. She was so affectionate, so loving, always sending cute texts during the day. Made me feel like the most important person. But then the small things started. She'd have a bad day at her retail job. Her manager was micromanaging her again. Her coworkers were ganging up on her. I'd spend hours on the phone listening, comforting her, telling her it would be okay. She would cry and say I was her rock, the only good thing in her entire life. It felt good to be needed like that. Then came the problems with her friends. Her best friend Sarah was so selfish. Sarah got a promotion and didn't celebrate right. Cassandra said she made it all about herself. They had a huge fight, stopped speaking. Suddenly, Sarah was the worst person alive. A few weeks later, another friend wronged her. This friend didn't text back fast enough. Apparently, it meant she didn't care at all. One by one, she cut off all her friends. It was always their fault, never hers. They were all toxic, unsupportive, fake. She would cry to me about being all alone, how everyone always abandons her in the end. I held her close and promised I never would. My own friends started to notice things. They said I seemed stressed out all the time, that I never came out with them anymore. I tried to explain Cassandra needed me. She was going through a lot of stuff. My best friend Mark was skeptical. Dude, she's always going through stuff. I got defensive, told him he didn't get it. Cassandra accidentally overheard a call with him. She was devastated, cried for 2 hours. Said my best friend clearly hated her, that she felt so unwelcome around him now. To keep the peace, I stopped seeing Mark. I stopped seeing most of my friends. My world became smaller and smaller. It was just me and her, against everyone. Her work situation kept getting worse. She was always on the verge of being fired. Her evil manager was building a case. She started calling in sick a lot, said the stress was making her physically ill. I felt so bad for her. I started helping. Covered her share of the rent 1 month, then 2 months. Then it just became normal. I was paying for all our dates, our food, all of our bills. Everything was on me. She said she'd pay me back when she could, once she found a job that valued her. But she never seemed to be looking. Anytime I'd bring it up, she'd break down. Accuse me of thinking she was a loser, that I was just like everyone else. So I stopped asking, just kept on paying. My savings started to completely disappear. I was living paycheck to paycheck again. The stress was starting to really get to me. I felt tired all the time, completely drained. One day, I got a random message on Facebook. It was from a name I vaguely recognized, a girl named Jessica, one of Cass's ex-friends, the one who was so jealous of her. The message was short and to the point. Hey, I know this is weird, but be careful. Cassandra is not who you think she is. My first instinct was anger, pure rage. How dare this person try to ruin my life? Showed the message to Cassandra. Just as I expected, a complete meltdown. Tears, hyperventilating, the whole performance. She said Jessica was obsessed with her, that she was trying to destroy her happiness. I believed her, blocked Jessica immediately. But a tiny seed of doubt was planted. It was a small, quiet thing in my mind. A few weeks later, the inevitable happened. Her manager finally fired her from her job. She came home wailing, a total mess. Told me this whole elaborate, tragic story. How her boss screamed at her in the office, made up lies about her performance, had security escort her out like a criminal, held her and let her cry on my shoulder. But that little seed of doubt was growing. Something about the story felt off, too dramatic. The next day I did something I regret, and also something I'm thankful for. Found the retail store's number online. Asked to speak to the manager, her boss. My heart was pounding, felt like a spy. I said I was calling for an employment verification. The manager, a woman, sounded tired. Look, I can't give you specific details, but let's just say we have a zero tolerance policy for workplace bullying and theft. My blood ran completely cold in my veins. Theft? Bullying? What was she talking about? I pushed a little, said I needed to know. She sighed, clearly breaking some protocol. She was caught stealing from the register, and we had multiple complaints from staff about her creating a hostile environment. She would blame others for her own mistakes. She would lie to get her coworkers in trouble. We have it all on camera and in writing. I hung up the phone, my hands were shaking. It was all a lie, every single tear. The whole victim story was a complete fabrication. It felt like the floor had dropped out. I went deeper down the rabbit hole. I unblocked Jessica and sent her a message. Tell me everything you know about Cassandra. My phone immediately started to ring. It was Jessica. She sounded relieved. We talked for over an hour on the phone. She told me story after story. How Cassandra did the same thing with her ex. How she isolated him from all his friends. How she faked illnesses for attention. How she lied to get out of paying rent. It was a pattern, a manipulative cycle. She would find a kind, empathetic guy, latch on to him, drain him completely dry, of his money, his energy, his social life. Then when he figured it out, she'd move on, leaving a trail of destruction behind her. Jessica was just one of many ex-friends who had been cast as a villain in her story. I felt sick to my stomach, so foolish. Had given up my friends, my savings, my entire life for this person, this stranger, who had been playing me from the start. I went home that night. My mind was clear. She was on the couch, watching some reality TV. She looked up at me and smiled sweetly. Hey babe, did you bring me home any food? I just stood there, staring at her. I asked her about the job, about the theft. Her face changed in an instant, so fast. The sweet, fragile look was gone, replaced by a cold, hard glare. Who have you been talking to, Anon? The tears started, right on cue. I can't believe you would go behind my back. You're supposed to be on my side. But this time, the tears didn't work. I just felt empty, completely numb. I told her that I knew everything now. The crying stopped, just like a switch. Her face became a blank mask. She stood up from the couch. So what? It's not my fault you're so naive. She shrugged her shoulders, no remorse. You wanted to be a hero, so I let you. It was fun while it lasted, I guess. No emotion, no sadness, just coldness. It was the scariest thing I had ever seen. The person I loved wasn't real. She was just an actress, and the show was over. I told her to pack her things and get out. She laughed a little, a bitter sound. Fine, whatever. I was getting bored anyway. She packed a single bag and she left. Didn't even look back at me once.